welcome back to Talk Up. We are on episode 30, which is a minor miracle in itself, considering when we first started out, we had to film it at like 5 in the morning.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And we haven't killed each other since. So I am joined by, as I was going to say always, but he misses half the episodes, by
Big J.
Big J.
Howdy, guys. You going to move on?
And?
Well, I was going to go with Charles, but I'll go with Big Charles.
Big Charles. Well, I ain't going with Little Will. But, Big Will. Right, so we're all big today. This is getting fucking weird before we start, isn't it? Well done, guys. So, Charles has, who you might recognise from the latest Elec shows down in Sandown. Was that the first one you did?
Yeah, the one we met, yeah.
That's where we met, yeah, with Big Lawrence.
Big Lawrence.
Also known as Big Bristol Sparky. We got to drop this big. Right, Bristol Sparky, who won't come on the show because he has a vendetta against Jimbo. Jimbo still doesn't know why.
No one knows why.
No one knows why. But after seeing Lawrence's block list at the Elec show, he is not alone.
Yeah, fair play.
I haven't made it on there yet, but then Lawrence is my meme brother at this point. We just send each other memes, and he's got a weird taste in memes, but I love it. He's but he's a good guy, and he is welcome anytime. That's right. He still won't come on. He only lives on a bloody corner.
Yeah, I know. This is it.
So today we want to cover some big topics. They keep coming up on our show. You are absolutely poised to answer them. He doesn't claim to be an AI expert, but compared to the rest of us,
Yeah.
he's an AI expert.
A genius.
Yeah. You started Trade Cert when?
So we started, or went live 7 months ago.
And what is Trade Cert, and why does it integrate into the AI world?
Yeah, sure. So it's a certification software for electricians, and we had the idea in 2023. Mark, who's my brother's father-in-law, my brother is the co-founder, he's an electrician, and he pointed out the apps on the market were, and some of the web platforms were quite antiquated and didn't fill all the needs. Some did some things well, but there was no sort of all-round package. So my brother, who was a software developer at a number of sort of big companies, thought, I think we could do better than this. So we started looking at the composition, and we were surprised not only on product, but also customer service. That was a big one. So a lot of these certification software platforms, most people don't know this, they're actually one-man bands. So we thought, okay, we can do something different on the service aspect too. Yeah. And that hopefully reflects in the growth we've had and what people are saying. So, yeah, we went live in June/July last year. And we are now at 2,200 paying subscribers. So it's been crazy. And it's probably about 400 new a month, something like that. So, yeah, it's been a journey. And, I mean, you guys are sort of meant to be embryonic, but you've just taken off as well. And I'm sure there's some...
I'm glad someone noticed. Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah. You can come back. Yeah. No one else says nice things.
No, they don't.
Did you say it was 30 episodes you've done?
Yes.
Yeah, the podcast, yeah.
I thought it was more.
No, to be fair, we started the podcast before we started Navitas. So,
But
go on.
if you factor in some of the stuff that we've done on the road...
Yeah. Oh yeah, probably will be more. Yeah, probably is more episodes. Yeah. We took Talk Up on the road, didn't we? To do all the trade shows and everything else.
Okay, right.
By Sandown, where we met you, we had the Royal Lump. We weren't doing that again. No, it cost me loads in replacing kit.
Yeah.
Kit got caught at the exhibition guy. It just didn't work. So we restructured the studio anyway. So now it's more of a permanent thing here. But yeah, the podcast is actually older than Navitas.
Yes.
So we started that a while. We actually didn't start it as an electricians podcast. But
No. It was the factor in like
all business, wasn't it? All business.
So, but I thought you were branded. This ties into the gift, right? So I've got to give Jay a gift. I thought it was because the branding's similar to the original video on the podcast, right?
It will be. So
number one.
Ironically, the Navitas branding followed the podcast, not the other way around.
Right. Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's always because we worked at a different company before, and there were two completely separate things, and we wanted to keep them that way. But then when we obviously went off and we built this, it's just like, right, well, they can align now. And the colours of the podcast are always black and green, weren't they?
Yeah.
So
on your
it's kind of come through.
last episode with
Joe, yeah.
Joe?
Joe.
Yeah, with that episode with Joe. You mentioned he looked like a tennis ball in the...
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I've got to find this.
This is a gift. Oh, look at this. He even brings gifts.
Oh, bloody hell, it's wrapped as well. What's this?
So I had a look. for episode number 1.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's this tennis ball?
Oh, that is cool. That's cool. Look at that.
Oh man, there he does.
It's just like a tennis ball.
There we are. Look at that.
That is epic.
Oh,
I think it's the
thanks,
best
pal.
thumbnail I've seen.
That is brilliant.
Oh, so you're saying since episode 2 I've been downhill? Cheers, mate. You were doing so well. Oh, that's awesome. You know what we've got to do? We should frame that.
We
and put
will.
it on the wall.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's the first guest that's come in. That's
With a
actually
gift.
giving us something. Yeah.
There you go. Jay the tennis ball, soon to be framed. There you go.
Big J.
Big.
Big J. Big J.
Right. Anyway, we're going off on a tangent.
Back to AI.
That's where this is where I come in now. Right. Okay. So 7 months. Okay. You started it, and then, like you said before, what was it? 22,000, and then 400.
No, 2,200.
2,200. Sorry, and then 400 per month.
Yeah, 400 new per month. Yeah,
Fudge me,
it's what metric we're tracking the most is, as you should really, is retention. Right, what's your retention like?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Which is always a good hallmarker, right? People aren't just falling in love with the AI side of it. That's the bit that really gets people in. You know, take a picture of a board, you have to write it out.
Yeah.
But then their stickiness is really what counts, right? Like it's great having that feature, but if the rest of the platform's crap, then forget it.
Yeah.
And that's where it was the excellent hook that brought people in, and they're like, oh, it works across devices in real time. You know, I'll try and not give you too much of a sales pitch, but in fact, it's powered by Google Cloud. You can use it on any device. That made a big difference. So it's not stuck on a certain ecosystem.
Okay.
The way it syncs as well. It's amazing how many, and I won't name which companies.
We do it all the time.
You do. Probably won't. It's like that screenshot I showed you earlier.
We do it all the
I
time.
am tempted to. I won't give it away. We implemented a number of other features, AI led, and a number of other unique features. So one is like observations. If you write an observation like crack socket or whatever, or you misspell it will expand that, give you the reg, and then give you the code, and then also update, crucially, this is the key one, update the inspection schedule item. Wow. So each observation is linked to an inspection schedule item. If you've ever seen the inspection schedule, it's massive. And this is where mistakes can easily happen. And our bread and butter is one-man bands, but for the larger companies, they especially love this because not only does it basically eradicate that page to some extent, you just add your observations and then press tick all at the end, but also it standardizes your outputs. So some engineers, I'm not great at spelling, would spell things wrong, or maybe it doesn't look so great. It also doesn't include the reg necessarily. You don't want to go to the book and go, right, which reg is, crack socket or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. That's been great. Importing PDFs. We've got a lot of data. Our AI accuracy is made a big leap, which is impressive and exciting to see where it can go in future, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yeah.
And then support is a big one. I think a lot of people just want to feel heard. Obviously, there is sometimes people might wonder how to navigate from here to there, but we built the platform to have a modern UX, and UX is everything. Right?
So explain what UX means.
Sorry, so you basically user experience.
Yeah.
You got user interface, user experience. They're interchangeable. Basically,
It's
mean the same
basically
thing.
how you are working with the way
platform.
it looks and works and navigates it too. Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of people love iOS just simply because it's so clean. It's so
Well, it
easy
was
to use.
designed. Steve Jobs designed the Apple interface so your grandfather could use it.
Yeah.
He wanted
Yeah,
it to
yeah.
be so simplistic that everything just made sense. You click that. That's why that app kind of structure became a thing, because you can click it and it's going to take you to exactly what you expect to see.
Yeah. People don't realize the genius of Steve Jobs was not just limited to sort of software. He was a good developer, but he openly admitted he wasn't like Wozniak or whatever. But he went on, as he got fired from Apple, he went on to do Pixar, and then first release of a real animation film was Toy Story. So he was a genius. He actually made his money from Pixar, not from Apple. Right? He only made a small amount of his billions from Apple. He was a modern genius and understood that people, and we see that with electricians, they don't want a big clunky interface with all these, this feature does this and whatever. It's got to be like clearly directional from day one, and then obvious what to do next, right? And that's, you can't pay UX enough dividends. It is incredible in what it can achieve with good users. So that's sort of where we got to in 7-8 months. It's been crazy.
So for someone who can build a website and understands how long it takes to build a website, I couldn't imagine what it would take, the infrastructure it would take to build something like that and launch it and get it to market and get to a point where you have 20 200 recurring customers a month in 7 months.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
That is immense.
In itself.
Yeah, well, I think it's not so much a reflection on us, more that it was a gap in the market, and there's lots of niches out there that have this. But yeah,
I'm gonna stop you there. Not to be a dick, right? But I think a lot of founders do this, and I think a lot of people that run businesses or try and create something do this, where they undervalue the
What
input.
it is, that they brought.
The
Okay,
input to
fair
get
enough.
get something from A to B, right? Because we talked about it before we got on air, and when I said, look, we've essentially been trading for 19 months, and told you the output we're doing this and the other, and you're like, that's nuts.
yeah.
And we had this conversation just over Christmas. Was like, hang on, when you take a step back and realise we didn't have walls 19 months ago, like this room didn't exist 19 months ago, and now where we're at, that doesn't happen. You make that happen, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same for electricians out there who are thinking about going out on their own. Your work doesn't just come through the door. You have to go and get it. You have to go and create a reputation for yourself. It's the same for wholesalers who are starting up. You know, the 3 guys decide, oh, we're going to start an electrical wholesaler, ABC Electrical. They'll just, people just turn up and buy cable off us. No, they won't. Like there is a graft, there's a grit, there's a dedication, there's a commitment it takes to get anything anywhere, let alone in a time frame. I don't know whether it's quicker in software, but it might than it is in a sort of a product-based environment. I don't know if it's harder than it's easier, but you always know. So the fact it's successful means you found a gap, right? But that doesn't mean that it would have filled that gap had you not put the graft in.
Yeah.
Of
Of
course.
course, be sustainable. Yeah.
I think probably the reason why I'm underpinning it a little bit is my brother, who's really the genius behind this, right? He's the main developer. Unbelievable what he's capable of, and he always has been, right? From an early age, he was like making buzzer systems and all sorts of stuff, right? It was crazy.
What were you doing at that time?
Probably drugs. Yeah, maybe not that young, but he was always the golden boy. Right? Yeah. And I think the younger one usually is the one to act out. Not always, but yeah, in my case. Anyway, so he's always applied these sort of, this is just the good way to do it, right? If you take a good electrician who does a good install, if someone compliments that on what they've done, they'll probably, it's just how you do it, right? It's just the right way of doing it. So they probably don't take the compliment to heart. It's just how you apply it. So it's not that we've done anything massively different with Trade Cert than what we've done before in previous ventures, but it's just the right way to do it, and that no one else had adopted that model, and that we just applied it to this niche. So don't get me wrong, it's been hard work. It can be difficult, but the best things in life do come from that. So, unbelievable growth. The plans for the future are exciting, especially as AI grows and whatnot, and how we can help with reducing the paperwork. We'll never claim that doing certificates will be fun. Some companies do that, don't they? They're like, here's a pain point, and we make it fun. It's like, well, it's always going to be painful. Yeah. But it's how much of that pain you can eradicate. So that's the exciting bit in the future, and doubling the team, all that stuff. So it's exciting.
Did you know Awab's law came into effect on the 27th of October 2025? New compliance rules for social housing now require tighter monitoring for ventilation. Now, every inspection must record airflow in litres per second. No exceptions. The CA 1227 measures airflow precisely with concept verification. With this instrument, you can ensure you're compliant moving forward. If you want to add the CA 1227 to your environmental testing kit, contact us on info@chauvin-arnu.co.uk.
Talk to us about the service. So obviously you've got competition in the market, that's standard really, but how do you guys differentiate? Because we briefly spoke about service before we came on the podcast, but what is it that you guys do differently in terms of that service factor?
Yeah, and how does that benefit the electrician? Because obviously it's the electrician that's listening and watching to this, right? And they're thinking, okay, these guys do software. And there's different levels of software in the industry right now. And I think that, can I put this, there's a software boom in the electrical industry. You've got Tradeify, you've got you guys, you've got and a lot of you are maximising, like we all are essentially, social medias and things like that to get your message out there. And I think for the market, for the industry, it can get a bit noisy.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
How do one software is the same as the other, isn't it? And then you get the other guy that goes, well, I just use a spreadsheet. And then you get the other guy, well, I still write things on the back of a fag packet. And then the industry is so varied. So where, with exactly what Jay said there, and then how does that really benefit me if I'm just me in my van?
Yeah, of course. So it depends on what type of electrician you are.
Is it catered more for domestic than commercial then?
No. We use probably in a way, strangely, even though most of our users are domestic, commercial it really shines, because if you're doing a big 3-phase board, right, writing that out's not fun. If you've got 100 of those boards, that's really painful. If you can get your hands on the pass certificate, you can just upload that as well. It doesn't have to be the board. So that can save hours, like literally hours. For domestic installs, to write out a modern consumer unit, it should take 10, 15 minutes, right? If that. But we take that 10, 15 minutes away. So commercial, it's amplified, basically.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about service support, how does that compare versus competitors? Look, there are some competitors like Electroform that offer great customer support. And we don't want to shun that at all. They offer great customer support. They're at the end of the phone. They've got a phone line. That's always a good indicator, right?
How many AI companies,
Yeah,
software companies?
How painful is it?
Can you get through a human being?
Please let me speak to someone.
Like I'm in the chat bot, like, just put me through to what is the phone number? I'll call it myself. And the thing goes, I cannot help you with that today. Like,
yeah. Do you ever have in the back of your mind though, like, I've been a bit rude to AI there. What if one day,
It depends how many times I've asked it for a phone number. Because if I'd had to ask a human being that many times, I'd still be rude. Just put me through to a human being. I think it goes back to what you said. It depends on my pain point and how much pain I'm currently in.
Yeah, sometimes you just want an answer. I mean, most of the time, most electricians we don't speak to, right? There's 2,200. Most of them we're not speaking to, because the platform's so easy to use, right? It's self-navigable. We've got an inbuilt invoicing structure and everything like that. There's no sort of locked certificate. So a lot of competitors operate on a pay-as-you-go model. Okay. And that means that the certificates have to enter a locked state. Otherwise, the electrician just carries on copying that certificate. They never buy another one. Right. Because we're unlimited certificates, there's no need for that. So immediately, that's like 50% of support inquiries. Gone. Most of the time, it will be billing. Like, I only do one certificate a month, or I'm looking at going solo. I currently employ for someone. £18 a month for us is a bit steep. So then we'll say, okay, let's have a conversation, right? And that's where I'll spend probably 20% of customer inquiries. The rest, and I'll say this diplomatically, might be people who don't know how to update an app, right? I get asked that a lot. How do I update to the latest version? And on iOS, you can do it on Android as well, where it auto updates. And I talk them through, right, this is how you do that. This is how you auto update. Just a wide variety of requests. I had one that said, I haven't got a tablet yet. Can you send me some paper certificates? And it's like, sorry, we're digitalized, we don't do that. So a whole manner of different support requests, but just being there, like saying, there's a person here. It may not be so much that they've addressed my initial question, but if something happens in future and I need help, are they there? Right, that's always a big one. I've had it before where, I'm sure it sounds like you have, from that chatbot, where you just want an answer to something, and then you're thinking immediately, if you can't get that answer quickly, what if, right? What if I need to speak to someone later? So for us, support,
I think for a lot of things in our industry, it gets to a point where if you don't have confidence that I can pick up the phone and get an answer that I need the moment I need it, I won't use that again, whatever it is, whether that's a product. But the amount of times, it's quite shocking, actually. The amount of times we'll get a technical inquiry and we will phone them back within a few hours, ask them what it is, walk them through it, give them some... And they're like, I didn't expect you to call me back today. Like, when were you expecting it? Like, X company takes about a week to get back, if they get back at all. And sometimes I'll just get an email, like, cool, well, keep buying Avitas. So it does make a huge difference. But I think with digitalization and AI, I think that's actually probably going to reduce. I don't think it's going to increase. Yeah,
but then arguably the need for it increases because people want to speak to a person.
100%. And I think we've got to touch on, definitely want to get the Trade Cert story out there, but we've got to touch on the fears of AIs and the risks that people think that the Terminator's around the corner. Yeah. And he's gonna fix your sockets and walls and all.
That'd be good though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would actually. Well, it depends.
Depends how you look at it. Yeah.
I've seen all the films. It doesn't end well.
You watched them?
What, Terminator?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the first two, and then I kind of lost interest.
Yeah, the last one's a bit.
It's about, what was it, Skyline?
Skynet.
Skyline's a car. It's in this end.
Oh, right.
Wrong set of movies. Yeah.
All right, I lied. I only saw the first one.
Yeah, there you go. Mate, that was like our childhood. How did you miss that?
Terminator wasn't my thing. No, I was more Spider-Man. That was my thing. Batman. Yeah, things like that.
Lots of men. Got it. Right.
Yeah. Big J.
Not robots. Big J.
Oh Jesus! Oh dear.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Yeah, so we're at service and we're talking about men in tight-fitting costumes.
Right, let's recenter.
Yeah, we said about it. You're the one supposed to keep the podcast.
Yeah,
on
I
track.
know,
Yeah,
I
that's
know,
your
I
only
know, I
job.
know.
It's the only reason you're here.
Sorry.
Big J. So are you going to look to expand the human aspect of your AI company? I know it sounds arse about face, but
Well, I think we're doing enough of a good job at the moment. People, I don't think you find one negative review. I don't even think there is one negative one yet. Whereby someone said, "Oh, I can't speak to anyone." That's just not. It's not in our nature. If we reach a point where it's like, oh, we've got 10,000 subscribers, then it becomes a little bit different. So we'll always factor that in. We always want to be visible.
I hear what you're saying. The easier it is to use, the less problem questions you're going to get.
Yeah. It's so tricky because a lot of the questions could just be answered by a simple FAQ.
How many people use them though?
I know. I find it painful. I hate going
yeah.
on them. But a chatbot in the app, it would answer most questions. But
Do you know what FAQs are? Sorry, you know what FAQs are good for?
What?
SEO. So
It's often
So
used
if you don't want to call someone and you Google it, it will, especially if
with
it's
their
brand
FAQ.
specific, it'll pull it from their FAQ and then that's how I do it.
Yeah.
That's literally the only time an FAQ will come up because no one's looking for that on your website.
It's so tenuous, the marketing side of it. Like you were talking about earlier, you spend a lot of money and you don't get an answer from someone, right? Like we're spending ridiculous amounts on marketing. We don't want to be annoying to electricians, constantly popping up their feed, but it's kind of what you got to do. Tradeify are great at it. They're really good at marketing and whatever, but it becomes so tenuous. A lot of these companies will put articles up on comparing X product to Y product just to improve their SEO.
Yeah.
And they're just littering the internet with stuff that's, not really completely true. But anyway, I digress.
we could talk about that for ages.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Let's stick on
Don't worry.
What was the
guys,
question, Will?
Yeah. Which one now? About are you going to add more human beings to your AI company?
At this point, probably not. Developers, yes, we're doubling developer teams, so that's really exciting. A lot of people, as I mentioned earlier, don't realise these software companies are one-man bands, right? And if you look on Companies House, this is why we entered the market. They've got lots of cash at hand in the bank. And they're one-man bands, and that reflects in the support, right? Because there's no way that a team of just one of us could handle these custom supports, pump out the features that we're doing, being this far ahead, and so on. So, expanding for developer side, definitely. And then if we need to hire more customer service, then so be it. It's a bit of an interesting one, because you and I spoke about this off the podcast. It's like hiring a customer service agent who they would have to know the electrical industry. They'd have to know basic electrical stuff, Mac ZS stuff and whatever. Because we do get asked questions that theoretically electricians should know sometimes, right?
No comment.
Yeah, no comment. But
Mate, we've had some phone calls that really scare the shit out of me. You're definitely not a spark.
I didn't want to say it.
No, honestly,
How many
it's
certificates
blue to brown, blue to bits. That's done. Boom, hang up, done. That's the only advice I'm giving you. I'm not ending up on the news. Please don't use our boards. There was one guy that called up. Oh God! It was so bad to the point where he was asking these questions. I was terrified. I was like, he's got his hands on one of our boards, right? So he was in Northern Ireland, right? But we've only got one distributor in Northern Ireland, right? So I called the owner of that company, Raymond. Right? I says, Raymond, there's a geezer who's just called me, right?
Yeah.
And these are the sets of questions he's asked me. So if you hear about someone blowing up, right? Nothing to do with me. Whoever sold him that board needs to check that you're selling it to qualified electricians. I was like, there is no way that man should be near a screwdriver. And
Was it that bad?
Yeah, mate, it was really bad. It was really bad. He was trying to confirm which bit was the buzz bar. Honestly, mate.
Yeah, it's worrying, isn't it?
It was really worrying.
What the main protective bonding conductor was. That form on an EICR.
Yeah.
And we're not electricians, so
Well, there's a legal aspect you've got to be careful though as well.
know, right?
So
Yeah.
because when I worked in wholesale, I worked for Evanston's, and we always got taught you cannot give advice. You're not the You're not the qualified person. They are supposedly, and if they're not, they shouldn't be doing it, right? So, if you give advice, they follow that advice. Someone gets hurt or something goes wrong, you're liable. you could, as a company at Edmondson's, they told us we could potentially be liable, so don't do it, or you could lose your job, sort of thing. I always tell my staff here, you guys aren't qualified. You don't give advice. Even when we give advice from a technical perspective, this is how the product works, this is how it is designed to work, and this is how it's designed to be installed. What you do with your problem after that, unfortunately, you're the one signing it off as the electrician. That is your responsibility as the designer of that to take responsibility for it.
Yeah. That segues quite nicely into the AI observations that we have, right?
Yeah.
So you enter your observation and then it expands it, gives you the code and reg and everything, right? Obviously, it's up to the electrician to confirm they're happy with that. Sometimes there's nuance, like, I don't know, one RCD across 2 dBs. If the customer is, or the end client is, I don't know, in a wheelchair or something like that, and they need access to one of those distribution boards for medical reasons or whatever, right? That could be a C2 theoretically, right? So there's nuance, but that
is where the professional comes in. I think this
this
segues really nicely into the next bit that I want to talk about with the fear of AI and replacement. But like even ChatGPT, you go in there, and on the first thing it says on the bottom is, AI makes mistakes, please check, basically. And like we were talking about earlier, like the amount of times I put something in, it's spat it out, like, no, that's not right. That's really wrong. Don't do that. But it is getting, obviously, it's got a lot better in a short space of time. But the fact that a credible professional, whether you're in, especially in the trades, I mean, I think to an extent you can summarize it as the trades, but we'll keep it specifically for electricians. Even you said you think electricians as installers and certifiers and going around checking things and making sure things are safe are fairly safe from the AI rebuttal of Terminator Doom. There's a lot of careers, obviously, that aren't. And I think that opens up another question, which I'd love to get your opinion on as well, of there is a fear not only that within some circles, AI is going to replace everyone. Okay, cool. And that does live in certain electrical circles as well. Although I think we can all agree AI isn't running cable for you anytime soon. But that elements of the role will be reduced, or elements of the job ability will be taken from them. But also all these other jobs, these admin jobs, these kind of digital jobs that can be replaced by AI, people are going to look at the electricians as a gold mine and be like, there's going to be this rush to get into the trades. Then you've got the point that the trade is hemorrhaging people retiring, and there is the amount of people that are now leaving the industry compared to coming in. There's a big gap. There's been a skills gap for years and years and years, but it's getting worse because the demand is getting bigger, but the actual time it takes people to come through, get qualified, and it takes time to be a good electrician. Is still taking that time, and those amount of people that are coming through are less. That they'll do what they did a long time ago, probably a bit before your time, is they pushed these weekend courses, these fast courses, quick courses to be a spark, and you're going to get these like account clerks or customer service people that have been made redundant. Oh, I'm going to be an electrician, and it's all going to go to shit.
Yeah. I mean, where to start on that? Look,
start with your opinion of the overall fear of AI, and it's going to replace human beings.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Nice broad topic.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Casual dinner topic. So, first off, for tradespeople, especially electricians, there's no fear anytime soon that this will come in and replace you. As we were speaking about earlier, software is way ahead of the curve than hardware. And it's sort of changed, right? Like we spoke about 1940s, I don't know, bomber, right? That has basically no software. What you've got in your pocket is far more computing power that went up on the Apollo missions, right? Even a basic calculator has more than that. So that was all hardware back then. Now it's software, and software is quite self-replicable. So AI can write further code and so on. So software is way ahead of hardware. And what do you need to lay cable and all that stuff? You need hardware. So if you look at Boston Dynamics, they're kind of like at the cutting edge of what's possible in hardware at this point in time. And it's way off. It's absolutely way off. At some point in 50, 100 years, yeah, quite possibly. But we're not there yet. And if you look at the lifespan of your career, it's not going to be that long. And there'll still need to be a certified person at that point. You have early version models and so on. And this kit's expensive, right? Hardware is so much more expensive than software. So, yeah, it's a long way off for tradespeople. We can talk about the sort of wider world impact, which is always an interesting one.
I think we should at some point.
At some point, yeah. But for now, it's just very good at low-skill, repetitive tasks. So Examples of that might be writing out a distribution board, right? What our app does. It's not great at understanding nuance in different things, like you were saying earlier. We have a tool called AI Check, which has just been boosted again. Our first version was okay. Second version's a lot better. This will take values from throughout the certificate, like if it's a TT, disconnection time, CSA, ampage, and then combine those together and then give you, does this look right? But it's certainly not always correct. There's something called hallucinate, the term hallucinate, which AI does. And without going too into the weeds on this, the way AI actually works is it's not intelligent. It's just probability. Okay, it's just assuming if this, then that. So if one pixel on the screen is black and then the rest around it are red, odds are there's not going to be another black pixel outside of that. So when you get these image generators and all that stuff, it's the same with words too. It's probability as to what's next. And without probability, so if it was deterministic, which is it's predefined, someone has to have coded every answer GPT ever gives you, which obviously, that's just too much. Yeah. So if it's non-deterministic, which is what AI is, pumping out different results each time based on probability, it can go beyond what a developer does. And that's the whole genius of AI, is it's probability based. So it's just guessing based off previous information. Obviously, there's a huge, complex of that behind it.
So it consumes a massive resource of data first.
Yep.
So now you're reacting, when you're interacting with it, it's reacting based on the probability of what you're saying alongside what it's absorbed to give you an answer.
Right.
There's some
so it's not thinking like people think it is.
No, it's not intelligent. Whether it's sentient or not, that's a completely different conversation.
Yeah,
I
let
don't
the woke
think
generation deal with that.
We certainly don't think it is. AGI is the interesting next step, which is called artificial general intelligence, which means AI at the moment is very specialized. And you can argue we're getting closer to AGI. Sam Altman, the head of GPT, said he thinks we're getting closer with his model and a few others. But AGI basically means it can do a whole plethora of tasks and combine them together. So it could be stockfish level at chess. It could be understanding military warfare really well and lots of details with it. It could be great at OCR. All of these things combined into one. And you get a bit of that with GPT, right? But if you ask it, should I do this in this electrical installation? Sometimes it will just get it completely wrong. So it's not there yet, right? Like that's quite a niche topic. There's not so much data that you can pull from about the electrical industry. Yes, we've got the IT.
That's a great point, right?
But there's not massive amounts.
You get, when you think about your standard consumer installation, right? There is no such thing. Every house is different. Circuit's different.
Yeah.
Everything that person's got in their home is different. Unless you're talking about a new build where you're literally copy and pasting, right? But especially on a remedial perspective, or you're adding things, it's different every time. The only real kind of anchor points, I suppose, it has is your code breakers, NAPIT code breaker book, your regs themselves, manufacturing guidelines, standards, and anything you can pull from a like a course, like an AM2 course or anything else like that, alongside manufacturers' websites. Like, what else?
Forums, it goes off.
Yeah, but then again, if you've ever been on an electricians forum, there's a varied amount of ways of doing the same thing apparently. And you get called all sorts for asking the question. But it's just like, there's not, considering how much there would be, information there would be around a general topic, or a more, I want to say more academic structure, because everything's written down. Whereas in a trade structure, everything is done physically.
Right.
So if it's physical, it's not on a computer. If it's not on a computer, a chat can't find it.
Yeah, exactly. It's so far off coming in and replacing a day-to-day electrician. That's just not going to happen anytime soon. First off is, you ask it for a code, right? 99% of the time it'll get it right, but sometimes it will just get it wrong. Whereas an electrician will understand the nuance in, why it's this, not that. Yeah. And that 1% really makes the difference. Right. And then you go down the routes of investigating throughout a house, how to, pull apart this, it's way off that. So at the moment, it's not even what you would call theoretically intelligent. Yes, it's very smart, smarter than anyone probably in the world, but it's not actual intelligence. So we've got to get to the AGI step, and then the hardware's also got to catch up, and then you have, all sorts of complications with insurance, and, can you imagine?
Just who's actually responsible?
Yeah, who's responsible for that? And it just gets,
I'm glad. Do you know what? I hadn't even thought about that until he just mentioned it. But our entire industry is predicated on not my fault. Not my fault. Like limited liability. This is not my fault. Manufacturers do it. Sparks do it. Wholesalers do it. Like, boom. It's all about damage limitation if something goes wrong. So AI adding the decision-making process
doesn't it muddy the waters?
Well, 100%. Like, is Sam Altman taking responsibility for every rewire? No, I can't see it.
Yeah, I don't know how they sort of scapegoat themselves of any responsibility, because lots of people ask it questions, right? And yeah, I'm sure some people.
There must be something in the terms and conditions when you sign up.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah.
Going just back onto electricians then. So I'm an electrician, for instance, now.
You're not coming on my house.
Oh, yes, I will.
Oh, Big J.
So, yeah, I'm an electrician.
Are you actually now, Jay?
No. I'm hypothetical.
No, he's just learnt flat pack.
Yeah. There we are. Onwards and upwards. Right. So, anyway, I go to you then as an electrician. Never really dealt with ChatGPT or any form of AI. What are the benefits of me using AI in my day-to-day? How will that improve what I'm doing?
Yep.
What would you tell me?
So using it inside Trade Cert is, first off, it will reword your observations and then tie them to the inspection schedule. So if you're doing testing, that's great. It's going to save you time going through that long list, finding it. It'll also give you the code, give you the reg inside the observations, so you don't have to find it. Also, the big one is taking a picture of a distribution board. So if you can get a picture of the board, it'll put all that data into the certificate for you. So you don't have to manually type that out line by line. Nice. You can also use it for pass certificates, as we touched on earlier. So if you can get your hands on the pass certificate, or if you're just moving over from your existing software, so you might be uploading PDFs or even photos of the test results, you can upload that. I think what's really relevant to your point there is, what if you're just using paper at this point as an electrician? You're just writing out on paper your test results, and then maybe you type it up at home, or you even just issue the certificate on paper. With us, you can take a picture of handwritten results, and then it uploads it into the app. So then it's ready to go. So some people are working on the model of, they get their engineers, and a number of larger companies are doing this too, engineers out, test results on paper, gets back, Joe in the office writes it up, whatever it is. Sometimes that's a qualified supervisor, right? These are not minimum wage people, and they're being paid to do basic admin.
Isn't there an element of with that though, like a double checking process at the same time? Because if someone on site's gone and submitted these results, and a more qualified or senior person in the office is looking at it and going, well, that can't be right, and if it is right, you need to go and fix that. So I can understand, because we run it, very different, but all of our orders get double checked, because if one person does it who's just picking orders all day long, you go snowblind with it, right? Mistakes happen. So we get another person, it's a different person each time, to double check an order once it's picked. So you get a fresh set of eyes on it, and then make sure it goes out quickly. Because again, cost saving and yada yada. So does the AI add that, or does it remove that?
Yeah, so I don't think it does it either, if I've understood you correctly. So first off, if someone in the example we're given goes to site with the test results, an engineer comes back to the QS, gives it to them, and they may spot an error on it, right? That happens on their current process, right?
Yeah.
That could happen on the current. With us, what we're saying is, rather than them having to type it up, which is a step later, once they're happy with it, then it just gets put in the software. Okay, so they can just take a picture. What these companies end up doing eventually, and this does answer your question, bear with me, is it comes back to them just doing it on site. They end up realizing, oh, this app can do this, it's really easy to use, I can use it across devices, I may as well just do it on site. And then when they do it on site, the QS has access to that before the engineer comes back, gives them the test results. So the QS can see what the electrician is doing in real time on site. There's no save button or anything like that.
Right, I see.
It's instantaneous. So you can even see the name move around the certificate. So you know what field they're on. There's a notes section as well. So you can leave notes for one another that don't appear in the final report. So you can have a dialogue with the QS. The QS can then put it back to in progress. So the engineer goes, okay, I need to go back to site. And they can have a conversation over the phone. Whereas if it's handwritten, they've got to wait till it gets
delay.
Yeah. Delay.
Okay.
But in terms of, could it go a step further in replacing QSs? That's an interesting question. I think it's a long way off, because again, nuance. It would need to look at the pictures and go, that doesn't look quite right.
Yeah.
And there's going to be edge cases where if it just gets it wrong 1 out of 100 times,
yeah, it's going to be too big.
Yeah, that's it. So it's got to be spot on, and we're way off that, especially given its probability based, as we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
So until it's 99.999, it's not there. The AI check is a helpful extra set of eyes, is what we say. So it just, the engineer can check with that first before giving it to the QS. In the same way that you might with GPT, right? Like if I was doing a an exam paper, and I was using GPT, which I'm sure a lot of people do.
There's got to be something. I mean, I'd ace my coursework.
Yeah, well, I don't know how they check. I think it's very complicated how they check to see if AI wrote it, but you still look over it, right? I've sent an email before where I've left the prompt in at the top.
Do you know how many of those I get a week?
They leave the prompt in?
Honestly, to the point where there'll be brackets, insert thing here, and it's like, dude, try harder.
You've never done it though. You never accidentally sent.
Probably no one's
pulled you up.
No one's pulled me up on it. But like, to be fair, I do it the other way around. So I've never been good at spelling. Dyslexia sucks, right? For some reasons. For some reasons, it's awesome. But Jay used to have to double check the important ones. If I made a spelling mistake in the less important ones, they usually know who I am and they're forgiving. But if it's an important one or a new one, or it's going to someone of, we're trying to win a particular job or whatever it might be, like, Jay, can you read my email for me? Which is great when he's in the office, which he rarely is. So you'd have to send it to him, wait for him to read it, send it back. Yeah, no, just you spelt this wrong, we'll do this one. That doesn't quite make sense. Grammar's a bit off. Right, cool. Now I write the email, I will drag it into a checker, pull it back, done. So it doesn't rewrite it. It just
checks it.
Right? Because what I have noticed, and I think this is a great thing to come on to, because I think how people are using AI at the moment is like an advanced Google model.
Okay.
Like ChatGPT, I think is probably the layman's AI, right? It's the first one I think most people are introduced to, and the most common one everyone's using. And they will literally speak to it like Google, not understanding prompts, and especially if they're trying to create something. They'll just ask it a question, get an answer, move on. Or they'll go, I need to write an email to Dave Smith about ABC, blah, blah, blah. I want to sound really smart and include this and blah. And then it's a copy, paste, drop, send. And there's no thought behind it. I need a LinkedIn post. Create a LinkedIn post. LinkedIn cracks me up because I must see the same post, right, from about 20 people a day. And it's like, dude, it is so obvious that you didn't like, especially when you've met them.
Yeah,
You don't even sound like this. Like, absolutely not. And then you have to scroll back a few months, like, mate, look, you can't spell for shit. But it cracks it. What I mean by it, what I'm getting at in a really roundabout point is the reason I do it that way round is it's my email. It's just proofread, and it might be enhanced slightly. I use a better word here or whatever, but I will also go back through it, and if I read it and go, yeah, but I won't be able, I would never use that word. So I take it out and I restructure it the way I would say it or where I'd write it. I think AI has made people really lazy with text. So they copy paste, so everyone sounds the same.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true.
Hello, I'm Zach. If you're an electrical professional looking for a solid, reliable test and measurement solutions, you'll be able to find them with Chauvenot UK. For nearly 4 decades, we've been innovating with one goal in mind, making your job easier. You probably know us for our power and energy loggers, our legendary F-clamps, or maybe that flexi clamp that blew up on social media. Now, you get it all in one place. Visit cauk.net to explore all our product ranges, watch how-to video guides, and all that good stuff. If you've got any questions, we're here to help.
But with what you're saying there as well, and with electricians, and kind of easing off the back of Jay's question there, Big J, sorry, is if I'm an electrician today, like Jay was saying, what AI platform do I break my teeth on, and how would you implement that day to day to make me a better electrician, make me more professional, make me more efficient, however?
Well, at the moment, it's good at low skill repetitive tasks. So we can talk about examples of those, and that can be everything from accounting software to writing out a certificate. And obviously, I'll try not to do the sales pitch too much on us. But if you're writing out boards manually, the only question I have is, why do that manually, right? That's not a skilled task. You're an electrician, you're a paid professional, but you're doing admin. If there's something that can take that away from you, then do it. Sure, it's not perfect. 99% of the time, it will get it there. But if it's a board photo, we have to infer like the CSA and so on. So you need to glance your eyes over it, but it gets the chassis of the cert there. I think I would ask, like, if there was an apprentice that could write out your boards for you that costed £18 a month, would you do it? And you'd be like, yeah, probably, yeah. So that's, without going too much into our product, there's definitely merit there. And that's why we brought it into the industry. I don't see one specific tool that answers all the questions for electricians. knowing the best LLMs, so large language models out there, always helps. A lot of people are oblivious to Claude, which is by Anthropic. That's great for like PDF export. It's good at OCR as well, so optical character recognition. This can be quite handy if you're looking at merging documents or redrafting documents and so on. It can be great for quotes as well. So it's a little bit more specialized. It's brought in mostly for universities and educational settings, Claude is. It's more expensive and you don't get as much of a go than you do with GPT, but generally you only need it once or twice. And then beyond that, I think it's just knowing what AI is capable of and then seeing if you can apply that to day-to-day tasks. Because occasionally I've had some, I'm sure you have as well, like monster admin tasks you've got to do and you're thinking, right, if I just take a step back rather than just getting into this hour-long task, or could be longer, and think, how can I use GPT to help me here? Sometimes it will just come up with a great idea for me and take it from there. It's also good beyond, the simple world of admin. It can be great for all sorts of things, as we were speaking about earlier. So, if you're struggling for marketing, just give it the prompt of, okay, look, I'm 1 year in, I'm struggling to book up, or I'm too booked up, and my profits are this, I regularly buy from here. What AI can do is look at your location. It can look at your nearest wholesaler. It can look at prices in real time, and it will probably extract something from you of real value and say, okay, if I were you, I would try this and take it from there. And it'll also put it in a realistic setting. It won't say, just go and do this, this will work. It will say, here's one option, here's option 2, here's option 3. So it's got a massive data set, and it's kind of like asking the internet a question. And that's invaluable. I don't think we're at a point where, that whole left behind thing, unless you're not using Google and you're writing test sheets out manually and you're not using accounting software, which I think is now pretty much mandatory.
Well, I think with Make Tax Digital now,
so
everyone's going to have some form of
exactly. So there's mandatory sort of catch-up points. But if you're using all the basics out there, then I don't think it's going to change your life. I don't think we're there yet. Will it change your life outside of being an electrician? Yeah, 100%. I think in 5-10 years, we're in for a bit of a shock. It's regularly ranking in the top 5 existential threats to humanity now, which it wasn't before. Obviously, we're all aware Stephen Hawking was banging on about it for ages, saying this is the biggest threat. It's even Sam Altman, the head of GPT, said AI was a big threat. Elon Musk says it, and it's hard to warn people unless you're participating in that process. That was their theory as to why they do it.
I'm sure the money had nothing to do with
it. But arguably,
that's the only reason we warn people about consuming it. It's not because we want to sell it.
No. Well, there's an element of that. Of course, there's an element of that. But without you being as part of the picture, you can't influence that industry.
Sure.
Right. So there's part of that. OpenAI was meant to be what they call open source code. So open source code is something where other developers can come in and start playing around, and that adds value in its own way. But it means it's open source, it's transparent. So Elon Musk was part of Sam Altman's venture with GPT, and he wanted it to be open source in the starting place. But now it's for profit.
Because aren't a lot of Tesla's models for car, a lot of their technology is not open source. You can access.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it started off with being a not for profit, but now it's for profit, and it's had its own quorums. But anyway, going back to the point, AI is one of the top 5 existential threats to humanity, which is the World Economic Forum now ranks it in the top 5, which is
Is there like a regulatory body that kind of hovers over AI and just monitors
it?
Not
really, no. In specific industries and fields, yes. So like in the medical industry, obviously there is. But if you're talking about what we have in our pockets, like GPT, Gemini, no. So the government do step in. So Elon Musk's Grok has been found out to remove women's clothes. And this is obviously really concerning. And the UK government said, right, you've got to fix this before we carry on, because that's incredibly harming to that individual. So there's no real checks and measures, because it's kind of like, how do you write the rule book for something we don't know its capabilities of?
But isn't there a rule book for the internet? Because you've got the dark web, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got the dark web, yeah. There's a rule book for the internet.
So why wouldn't that apply to AI?
I think it does apply to AI.
Within remit, obviously.
Yeah, I think it does apply to AI. It depends on the local governments, right? So if it's the UK, if it's the US, and whatever, obviously we have our own laws on the internet here than abroad. But it's in terms of checks and measures, I don't think internet policy would be the sole answer for AI, because if we just keep feeding it data and it keeps getting smarter, then that's a concern, right? Like, what if it wants to there's like good intentions can lead to bad things. Without going all philosophical, the road to hell is paved with good intentions is a good phrase, right? So climate change being something that people are concerned about. If we constantly put that out on the internet, the climate change is a big concern, and fair enough, right? Why not put that out? If AI starts picking up on this, what does it deem as the number one threat? Humans, right? And then obviously it says my only survival is predicated off this, if it becomes sentient.
Yeah.
So sometimes putting stuff out on the internet, you can have this sort of like interpretation from it in a way that is a misconstruction of values. So this is where it becomes interesting. And so the classic internet policy may not apply here with AI. So who knows? Will it affect everyone in the future? Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting. So GPT will do a adult version soon.
Yeah, it sounds good.
So,
What does that mean?
It means OnlyFans are going to take a hit.
Right, run me
So
through.
all you
Sorry.
electricians out there selling your feet pictures,
get ready.
get ready for some real funky shit.
No, all jokes aside, what does adult chat GPT mean?
I don't know what the formulated version is yet, but it will mean it will be some nature sexual. So that will have a big impact. And it's a scary future ahead in a lot of ways.
Right. So in your humble opinion, is what level would you be happy with AI to stop at in terms of its advancement? Or do you think we've already gone past that point?
Honestly, mate, I don't know. I'd love to be able to answer that question, but I think anyone who does, it should be skeptical of, right? Some people come out with these like vast claims like, oh, it will do this by this date, right? We just don't know. It's like someone predicting what the internet will do in 2000, right? Before the dot-com bubble and everything. We don't really know what it is yet, and that's the fearful thing. I think given state actors, bad actors out there, it's always concerning. So DeepSeek, you may remember them. They had a big push. They're a Chinese company, for those who don't know, who did very well. So whether or not you're participating or not, that kind of matters. So it's a big AI race between the West and other countries right now. That's the big thing is, are we leading the way in that? And it's going to become a big part in warfare and everything like that. So in an ideal world, mate, yeah, it'd be great if it stopped at some level. But if you don't play a part, then you'll just get left behind.
It's a bit like the nuclear war, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot like that.
It was a race to be able to develop a nuclear bomb, and then we all had to have one just to stop everyone else using one. It just seems a little bit nuts.
It is absurd. It is absurd. So I don't really know the answer to that, but there are some really positive stories about how we're solving all sorts of medical issues right now.
I was going to mention medical because that's where I've seen a lot of like praise for AI. But the general consensus of AI is I use it, but it's evil. I use it and I feel bad. It's evil. It's going to be the end of us all. But it's saving a lot of lives. It's helping advance certain medical techniques and assessments and things like that. And good, great, like you say. But it's paved with good intentions. So, but it doesn't always end that way, because that could also then be used of COVID next. The next version of COVID is going to be really good because they're going to use ChatGPT to design it, right? So, hey, that didn't kill off all this lot then. Only the old ones, right? Only them younger ones. But it is, and I think this is where the fear-mongering of it's so broad, isn't it? And then the first thing any of us think about, especially when we're self-employed or going out on our own, is your initial fear is you, yourself, your family, your income, right? And you're seeing all these different things and threats to that. That's your biggest concern. I don't give a shit what they're doing in Russia with their AI or in China. With I care that I can pay my mortgage at the end of the month. I think that some of the fear from what I've gathered from the industry, again, a lot of it I think is going to come from this fear of this influx of people, of low-skilled people, and pushed into the market, which is going to drop prices, which is going to drop the ability for skilled people of time-served electricians earning good enough money, or the money that they have become accustomed to or need to, and having an impact there, which is why I say what you say is, I get it, so why not play? Because you're saying, you can't lose if you don't play. Well, you can't win either, right? And in this sort of situation is, if you're not getting involved, if you're not learning it, if you're not understanding the basic concepts of it, if you're not trying to use it, the risk of you getting left behind is 100% if it does take off. And you know, whereas if you do learn it and you decide it doesn't work for you, it's not having a great impact and things like that, you've lost absolutely nothing.
Question, not for you, Charles, funny enough, but for you, Will, right?
There we go.
What do you reckon AI's effect will be on manufacturers if they don't look to adopt it?
Based on a lot of their marketing posts, they already do. You know what I'm talking about. Interesting. I think there'll be it's like anything. I think it's going to impact it.
Because our industry is quite traditional, isn't it?
What parts of it are traditional?
Well, I'm talking about the electrical, the wholesaling, like the bricks and mortar.
So you're talking about the supply chain. It's quite traditional.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Okay, that'll change.
You're
100%. Yeah, of course it will. Like, I've always said this, the way you procure things in your personal life at some point comes into your professional life. 10 years ago, no one bought anything online in our industry. But Amazon were growing and doing this, that, and the other, and people were becoming more and more comfortable trusting companies online and buying things online and this, that, and the other. Because if you remember, I'm old as dirt, right? So it's like, I remember people wouldn't buy things online because you get your credit card details nicked and that was it, and you'd lose all your money.
Yeah.
Right? Don't buy anything online. Come into our local shop. Well, the high street's dead, right? Because everyone's buying everything online. And we can keep saying, the high street's fucked. Right? Leave it alone. Turn it into something else. Right? We are buying things online by nature in our personal lives. As businesses, we are buying more and more things online. The trade is buying less things online, but again, that's because I don't want to say the wholesaler is the anchor point. Finance is an anchor point, and it's physical product. Like we were talking about it before when we like when it's a physical item, you need to hold the stock. Someone needs to hold the stock.
You need to get a feel.
Right?
Yeah.
Wholesalers are holding less and less and less and less stock. Contractors aren't trying to hold a month's worth of consumer units on their van or in their garage or whatever it might be. They're just not trying to do that. Like it's a big financial outlay, even if they got credit terms. However, I can see with margin erosion everywhere, like cost of raw materials and everything else going up, AI being able to create smarter websites, smarter apps, integrate things better with sort of distribution companies and couriers, and giving transparency, like you were saying, into a supply chain. And I've said this before, can help an electrician skip a step, i.e. the manufacturer can quite comfortably, I reckon, in the next 5 years, cut out the wholesaler.
Which is not what we want to do.
No, it's not about that. I mean, bollocks to the politics. For that's already happening. There's so many manufacturers out there, right, hiding the fact they're trading direct, right? And I'm not talking about having a website that you can buy off. I'm talking about physically trading direct. Like, here's a credit account, buy 10 grams worth of gear, don't buy it off them and get me a better price. There's loads of them, right? They won't admit it, but there's absolutely loads of them, okay? Schneider have been doing it for years. If you get one of their big design projects and things like that for one, a big contracting company, they go outside of the wholesale channels. They've done it for years. There's Dextra Lighting. Lots of big project-based companies have been doing it for over a decade. And I think AI will help shrink that. So I think the most vital part of the AI adoption within our model is the wholesaler. And I've said this for a long, long time. If wholesalers keep on with almost this high street approach, they're the next thing that can be eroded. Because the electrician can bypass you, and so can the manufacturer. Okay? And people say, there's always going to be a need for them. There is, for some of them, not for all of them. And the one I worry about is the smaller SME independent market, because they're not going to have the infrastructure to build around it. But they also, at this moment in time, I feel, have the most to gain by adopting AI. Because they can all of a sudden create processes without having to recruit someone on 100 grand that knows how to build these things. They can create interactive platforms to help their customers. They can use it to analyze their spend, their outgoings, and all of a sudden they've got something that will do all the things, one, either they don't know how to do, so it can teach them, or it can add infrastructure into their businesses to professionalize them, make them more money, and cost nothing.
Yep.
Like that. I think if those independent businesses that start adopting an AI structure, will benefit the most, and those who don't and go, well, we've always done it this way, we can do it this way, and blah, 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 I think they're the most at risk. The nationals will have the money and the infrastructure to invest in it when they need to, which they've proved over the years, and the electrician is by nature reactive. The work is reactive. A lot of it is reactive. You get a phone call, my electric's out, board's on fire, whatever, right? Like, you can't plan for those call-outs. So that's and they're going to need to buy whatever they need to buy at that moment in time. They can't wait 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever, for someone to deliver it. But so there is always going to be a place for wholesaler, but those that adopt it and create an efficient way of doing that, that's improved on the service levels they're talking about of their competition, they're going to win out. 100% they're going to win out.
You're going to say something, Charles?
Yeah, it's needed in the world of authenticity as these independent places, right? So in a previous role, I was area rep for a German kitchen company, and there were these B2B partners, these independents, and they offered something that a big national chain like Wren couldn't offer. If you think of any dystopian future where tech has taken over, you can't imagine seeing in George Orwell's books like Mr. and Mrs. Smith local kitchens, can you? It's often big national chains capitalizing off economies of scale in a margin eroded economy. AI gives us that opportunity to sort of get rid of some of the margin. And obviously with cuts comes cuts and so on. That's what people are fearful of. I think the thing that I certainly want to leave people with is, electricians rather, is there is no time soon that we would expect to see a mass overhaul of day-to-day electricians. The hardware is nowhere near that point. Even the head of NVIDIA, who's the largest company in the world now, he's openly said and quoted UK electricians, because a lot of AI infrastructure is happening in this country, will be set to make a big boom at this point. Okay, so it's very in demand. The UK government says we need over 100,000 more electricians by 2032.
He does chat a lot of shit, man.
Yeah. I don't think it was him. I think it was his think tank. But yes, but there's a massive.
I'm still waiting for my
massive
council
skills
tax
gap.
bill to go back down.
I'm still waiting for my bill.
Hey, after this, it's coming. They'll use AI to track you down now. That tax man's coming, bastard. But no, I hear what you say. I mean, mate, you live in the world day to day, right? With the wholesalers, speaking to electricians, seeing these guys, seeing colleges, doing all the things you're doing.
Yeah.
How would AI impact your day to day if you integrated? Because you don't use it at all.
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
No. See, this is it. So this is why I was keen to have you on.
We don't really use it as a company.
No.
Okay.
Like I say, proofreading emails into
Yeah.
bits and bobs like that, and like I said, bounce a few. I use it like a dumb kind of advisor. I would say dumb because, like you said, it's not. You can explain as much as you want to. I feel like in the way I'm thinking and trying to create things, and what it comes back to me is like, fuck, that's fucking useless.
Yeah.
But sometimes it gives you a nugget, and that changes the way you think about something, and then I go off from there. Then.
Yeah.
But you don't use it at all.
No,
and we don't use it as a company.
Well, this is it. I mean, just going back to me personally, I think, I'll be honest, I'm a bit ignorant with it. Main reason is, like, certain times I'll speak to you and you'll be like, yeah, I use ChatGPT. But there's, I don't know, this subconscious feeling that it's not human. It's just, I don't know, I look at it as like we were talking about Terminator. It's just a robot. So there's a part of me that's like, well, no, I don't need to use it. It's a robot. It's not human. There's no emotion. There's nothing behind it. So in terms of the decision making, I'm not quite sure as to where it's getting the information. So that's why I was really keen to have you on today, because I was like, I want to see as to what this is about or what it can do. I mean, you asked me a question just a moment ago. In terms of what I think it could do for me now, I don't know, maybe sharpen up a few processes, maybe help with my time management a bit more, make me a bit more efficient. But in terms of that, I think that's the extent. And again, it just shows that there's more homework that I need to do.
You said it though. The reason I asked the question is I can't think of something. Like, I could analyze a spreadsheet for you. You can work out some costs quickly.
Yeah.
Bits and bobs, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Like that template you showed me today for customer rebates and stuff. It could probably analyze that and give you a breakdown of what it thinks and where, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but what else could it do?
It's not driving the car for you.
No.
You know, it's not having that conversation with the wholesaler for you. It's not answering that. I do think a lot of it's not fear mongering, but I do think a lot of it's misplaced fear. I do, but like you said, I think in the next 5 years, I think it's going to be nuts. I think at this moment in time where it's at, but I think in the next I don't think it's going to take as long as 10 years. I think in the next 5 years, because of the volume of attention and money that surrounds AI, like realistically, people are going to go at it. People are going to keep going at it, going until they rinse it dry, because greed more than anything, right? So if they do that, they could push it into something completely different, right? There's no way, right? Meta, Apple, Microsoft, just to name a few, who are massive digital companies based in this kind of technological and software field, aren't going to fucking go, well, they're not going to let others catch up if they can help it.
No.
And they've got, like you said, it's big conglomerates, and they've got the money to throw at it. And I don't know. I think it will change, but I just don't see how I think being ignorant to it, I think, is dangerous. I think being ignorant to anything can be dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not seeing both sides of the coin, how can you make a logical, as a human being, logical decision whether it's useful or not useful? And if you don't keep one eye on something that's this important and that's changing so many things, because you're scared of it, like if you, in my opinion, if you're going at it with that approach, you have every right to be scared of it, because once it passes the point of understanding, you're done.
Yeah.
Like once you now can't catch up with your understanding or your learning curve with it, you're done.
Yeah.
If it can then push you, for fuck's sake, every week.
You moved it earlier.
Yeah, I know, I did. If it then pushes you over and pushes you out,
Ignorance.
yeah, you're done.
Yeah. But my question to you both, we were talking about AI with these SMEs,
Yeah.
specifically with the wholesalers. Do you feel like AI potentially allows the playing field to be level?
Now, at this moment in time, I don't think it'd be level, no, because me and you, Will and Big J's electrical wholesaler, right, can't compete with his multi-glomerate, massive wholesaler, international wholesaler, because I don't have that money. So I can't buy that much stock from that whole. I still can't buy better than you. I still can't employ more people than you. I still can't, whatever. I'm still limited to my financial constraints.
Yeah.
But if I can maximize them, because I can do this, and this in a shorter time period, which means I can recruit less people. I can reduce mistakes. I can reduce admin tasks. I can beat the ones at my level every day, and then maybe go up a level.
Right. Okay.
But, independents go to war really, really well. Some of them, some of them are massive. Go to war with the nationals every day and don't bat an eyelid. Some of the really small ones do too, on a local level. But I don't think it's a level, no, because money is the differential, really.
Okay. Charles?
What was the question?
Do you think AI?
Who am I?
Do you think AI can be a leveler between large companies and smaller companies?
Again, and I hate to do this. I think it really depends on the context. So let's take two different sectors. We'll start off with sort of manufacturing, wholesale, and whatnot. I think AI can be more of a leveler than not in that sector. It sort of capitalizes on what your strengths are, gives you an opportunity to go further with that and cut away and trim the fat. If it's like banking sectors and whatnot, I think we'll start to see sort of what they call Matthew principle. To those who have everything, everything will be given, and to those who have nothing, everything will be taken. It's sort of like we'll put the world on steroids to some extent. AI will do that. So it depends on the industry. I think it will, if it's giving us great advice running, small to medium enterprises, then great, we'll take that. But at the same time, it can be giving great advice to massive, law firms.
It's not exclusive to small companies.
No, it's not exclusive. So by the same token, the larger companies who have better buying power, they can, use AI to analyze what, is most likely to be bought here and there and whatever, and then focus further on that. So yeah, it's really hard to say. I think in this sector, for electricians, it's definitely a tool that's here to help, and will just cut admin time down. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're anywhere near it being a life-changing amount of time to save at this point in time, but that will change. I think the real threat is how it impacts our social lives. We've all seen a lack of community, an erosion of, basic community values. I mean, even I've seen it in my lifetime. As the world becomes more connected, we sort of feel more distant in a way. And AI is sort of doing that in a different way. Like, do you Google things, Will? Will, Jay?
Yes.
Big J.
Yeah.
James?
Big
Just
J.
big.
Just big. So you Google things, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
So, but you wouldn't use GPT to go a step further and give you the answer with the link?
No. Because like I was saying before, I'm still ignorant to it, and I just don't think it's relevant. Main reason is because, when you search something in Google, it's just process, and then it comes up with this generated response. And I think at this moment in time, I'm like, well, that's all I need for it, because I'm not asking it any complex questions or anything that.
But is that because you've never done it? So
Yeah.
Because I think everyone, and this is why I really want people, if you don't already, download ChatGPT on your phone. Right, you can ask it X amount of prompts a day for free, right? Because you've got a question, okay? Why did Will knock over his cup? Right? Google will not tell you I'm an idiot. Right? Common sense will tell you I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you don't need to Google something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. How to set up a camera for a podcast? Right. It will send you probably a link or whatever to a YouTube video. Okay, you can follow through that, blah, blah, get thereabouts, not quite sure, Google again, you're done. What if you're stewing over a topic? It can be anything, right? We this has always been very kind of work focused, right? But let's say in your personal life, in regards to, I don't know, something as simple as, say simple, like buying a home, mortgage, affordability. Right, brilliant one. Right, my daughter's looking to move out and get her own place and this and the other. She's not quite sure she can afford it, okay? She pumps all of her information as what she earns. Rents, council tax, all that sort of stuff's going to come out. What sort of budget? Okay, but what if I add this? Now, what if I talk this? And it's a conversation with a chatbot. I get it, right?
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, she's not just got the facts. She's now got a bit of a plan together. She's now worked through it, like, because she's going back and forth with it to develop a plan, what sort of thing, how she can save for it. So a simple question of, I want to move out, can I afford it, turns into a growth situation where she's now got a plan of how she's going to save, what she's going to do, what budget she'd have to live to, and all this sort of stuff. Because it can do that back and forth rather than Googling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think with those sorts of things where you need a quick answer, Google's absolutely fine, has been for 2 decades or whatever. Like, but when you've got like a thought process you want to work through, I think that's where AI is really unique.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll give it a try.
There is part of it that I've seen in me that's not good. And I saw it when I was Googling things before. Is back in the day, right? You'd go to the library to find an answer, and you'd have to probably read a book, speak to the librarian, and you'd get a load of other context surrounding that answer. Then came the internet and Google, and you would have to sift maybe through some articles, and then it's got better, and now AI summarizes it. I don't know if you've seen it, it'll give you a Gemini summary at the top. But moving on to just purely Gemini or GPT, you're just kind of getting the answer. You can prompt it further and get a bit more context, but there's that sort of laziness that sets in, and what psychologists have learned is the easier something is to find, the less effort we put aside to trying to memorize it. So when you went to the library and you would read that book, and you probably can, pay testament to this with your own life, if you've had to find an answer by a hard way, often you're more likely to remember it. So I've seen in myself a sort of decline in my ability to memorize things. I'm just asking it questions all the time. And that can be quite harmful to those, especially young people who are like, just quite malleable to opinions, and as much as they try to make these things non-political, they can be. So there's a real side effect to that. So I would say, if you are, a really astute electrician reading the IET's book and whatever, then there's probably not a massive time-saving cost that AI will give you, other than in specialist areas like what we're talking about with our app, right? Writing out a distribution board. Aside from that, I don't see it as being, game-changing. I think it's in some ways it could be harmful, right? Like if you're just spending all your time asking it questions. So sometimes it's better to like read a book, right? Just reading a book. I've picked up reading again recently, and it's just so much more cathartic than just asking a question. I don't know if you know what I mean, but when,
100%.
When you speak to it and you ask it, something about it, as you were alluding to, is a bit like...
It's not human.
Yeah.
But Charles makes a fantastic point. You also don't bank it. I got a question, I need an answer, but I've now moved on.
Yeah.
I haven't digested that, I haven't processed that, I certainly haven't logged that to memory. But that's where I think a lot of people are using it wrong. And this wasn't, because if you're going back and forth with it, it's no different from me having a conversation with you.
Oh, yeah, see.
But like I always say, don't trust it. Don't let it make your decision. That's the human part of it. That's what makes you different. That's what's going to set you like. But yeah, I think for the electrical industry, I think it's an interesting one, because I think you're going to be able to pick it up or drop it. And I think I'm imploring people to pick it up and try it, because I worry that, again, I only know what I know about it, which is a nano fraction of what you know about it, but an awful lot more than you know about it. And we're all in the same sphere and field, and it's like, if you calculate the distance of what you know about AI to what you know about AI, it's the Grand Canyon. Well, the more of those chasms that happen in the UK or in the field or in the trade, the more people are at risk of being left behind if something does change or there is a development or whatever. And that I think that's my only fear, because that's the only thing I can think of that would potentially damage or hurt the electrician's ability to earn their money.
You're speaking in a commercial sense, do you think? Because you're not alluding to the fact there's a concern on your part that someone could create a robot that comes in. And
No, it's not about robots.
No.
It's more about if I learn how to utilize AI far better than you from a marketing perspective, from using how it uses social media, whatever, I'm going to win more work than you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? I'm going to be able to do my work for less than you because I've got more time to do it. So I can fit more jobs in a day. So I can squeeze that one in for 40 quid rather than 60 quid. Right? And all of a sudden you just lost 60 quid because that was always your job. But now I've got it. Like, because I can be more efficient, I can be more effective. More people are seeing me. I'm getting more calls than you are now. I'm getting all the calls in the area. You're not getting any because my AI understanding of what I put in place is just zapping all that in. And that scales, right? So if, like we said before, the conglomerate versus the indie, like AI is available to all. So if a local electrician could outwin work from me because he's got a better understanding or she's got a better understanding of AI than I have, well then Octopus are going to kill everyone. Do you see what I mean? I touched on it briefly with JK as well. Like, if they developed an app that did this, that did that, and blah, 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 my missus would never call another tradie again, right? It would just be like, if she needed anything doing, she could just book it on this app thing, and it all does it, and it spits out to whoever's on this platform, whatever. There's a million ways it could evolve. So if you're not aware of it, and at least in the game, something as small as that, you think, oh, a bit quiet this month, but Dave over there is flying. Well, yeah, he's learned how to use AI, and because he's using AI in whatever sphere it is, he's now getting those inquiries. You're not.
Yeah, and it does make what was previously quite a boring and tenuous role, which is having to learn marketing, quite easy, because it will tailor marketing advice to your specific business. Whereas if I just Google it and just look on Google, excluding Gemini, then I have to read a whole host and watch a load of videos on what is going to be the best marketing approach for me. And yeah, it's great for that. I mean, when we were launching our ads, Google Ads, Meta Ads, relatively easy to learn, but if you're going to do the advanced stuff, it's quite complicated, right? So AI was great for us to learn that. What would have taken 20 hours took 10, right? Maybe we wouldn't have done it, right? We would have probably done it, but there's lots of tasks like that where without AI, it would just be too labor.
The learning curve does. The time and
massive.
Investment of the learning curve outweighs outsourcing it to someone else.
Yeah. So if you haven't tried it, but there's something that you would like to do in life or for your business without trying AI, maybe that learning curve isn't as steep as what you initially thought, I think is probably an apt summary. But yeah, it's incredible. If you've seen the new version of Gemini 3, which I was banging on about earlier, it's incredible in what it can do and its understanding. It's not quite as user-friendly when it comes to how it pumps out text. So GPT is very good at understanding that relationship with you. Gemini is quite consistent in its output. You can change it slightly if you tell it, but it's incredibly knowledgeable. It's weird. I think something that's quite interesting to leave you with is I think it's called The Last Test of Humanity. It's something like that, where they put a load of AI bots through this test, and these tests are questions of an enormous magnitude, like physics-based questions that only a PhD doctorate could get. So it asks loads of different questions like this, and the initial versions like GPT and whatever got like 5%, 10%, and then it's gone up and gone up and gone up. So the latest one, Gemini 3.5, I think it was, got 27% right. Of which, if you look at the questions, they're just more complicated than you can possibly imagine, and it gets them right. So I think AGI will be the point when it can do even more complicated tasks like that and just answer them all back to back, and that's where it becomes impressive. And the more it advances, the more your claim that you guys need to pick it up, I think, really has weight. It's only getting smarter. The internet always had some theory of a cap to it. Right?
Yeah, because there's only so much information on the internet it can absorb.
Exactly, yeah. And there's only so many people on the earth. But with AI, it's sort of transient beyond that. And that's the really exciting and equally scaring thing. But if you're anything like me, like you enjoy following it and seeing where could this go, it's interesting. And for economics, so like if you like to invest in stocks, Palantir have just been crazy, and AI. After we met, I swear to God.
I remember when because after I bought it, it dropped a bit. I was like, bastard.
Oh, you bought off the back of it.
I bought it, I was sat up opposite you.
Yeah.
Everyone was tucking into their burger. I was like, I'll buy some of that.
It's doing really well for me, actually.
He sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. No, generally that happened.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So it's that will help everyone because as the economy grows, that helps basically everyone, right? Trickle down economics is a complicated thing and it's often disproved, but in a way, the wealthier you get, that does help the lowest level. So a lot of people look at Western capitalism and see this gap and go, "Oh, this is terrible." But if you look at the birth rate and survival rate of a newborn in the West in the 1950s, Africa is now ahead of that than what we were in the West in the 1950s. And this is because of modern medicine being brought to Africa, certainly not at the rate that it should be, but this medicine wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Western capitalism. Bill Gates has done some excellent work in this, and he wouldn't have had the money to do that. There wouldn't have been the resource, the AI that's helping medicine. This is objectively good stuff happening. But at the same time, it's indifferent. And it's the same AI, well, not the same AI, but it's AI that is also driving terrible questions about warfare and other different moral points. So it's such a double-edged sword. I don't think we can possibly understand what's ahead. 10, 20 years ago, if someone said there's going to be something bigger than the internet, you probably would have laughed at them, right? So who knows?
But you say that, right? And I've said this for a little while now. I think considering the vast amount of information, I mean, people don't even understand the vastness of the internet and how huge that is. And we condense it into 4 apps: Facebook, Instagram, X, and whichever sort of TikTok or YouTube or wherever you spend your short form lives on. And that is a summary of our knowledge of the internet. That is how we use the internet in most cases, unless we're purchasing directly from a website. But that's it. We use it for commerce or we use it for social media. And I do think you're right. I think AI and ChatGPT was obviously the first one really shook the tree with that, and then started asking the same questions, or similar anyway, at least, that we did back in the dot-com bubble. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it's the end of the world, because we catastrophize everything. But there's, like I say, there's catastrophizing everything, and then there's also do not be scared to adopt something. I don't care if you're 75 and still working as a spark, or you've just decided you're going to go and do an apprenticeship next year. Adopt everything. Pick up what makes sense to you, drop what doesn't, and keep evolving. Because, like that old saying, if you don't evolve, you die. And if you get left behind in a world that is moving faster now than it's ever moved, I think that rings more true than ever. Because those with money, those with time, those with infrastructure have access to the same shit you do. So you use it now, you've got a bigger platform. Like you just said there, most of your competition are one-man bands. That's mental that they can operate like that as a one-man band. But they have a fantastic understanding of this sort of stuff. Imagine what you guys could do as electricians with a great understanding of AI, even if you could just ratchet your output up or save more money or make 10% more in profit a year because you picked up something that costs £18 a month, or you've got a better understanding of AI. That's a good thing for you. So I just think everyone should at least download it, spend some time on it, and not be scared of it. Ask questions. Call Charles. Call Charles. So any questions you got for him before we let him go?
Yeah, it's kind of a question and a bit of praise as well. So we spoke earlier.
It's because you got your T-shirt, isn't
it? As well, yeah, guilty. But we spoke earlier just about service. And one of the things you said, so 7 months into the game, but you're still looking to expand. And with that comes infrastructure as well. My question was, I think it's great that you're looking to expand, especially when you're potentially looking at getting some customer service like an additional person if needed. But then Will just mentioned a lot of your competitors are only one-man bands. Realistically, if we're being honest, you don't really need anyone else, but you're still looking at developing and expanding. Why is that?
Yeah, well, something good is... You don't really know what something is going to be, right? Like especially in software, you don't really know what something is going to be, especially when it's at its greatest point. That's the cool thing about software. You were talking earlier about manufacturing. It's a mature market. Generally, it's hard to innovate in tangible product. So in software, you can do all sorts of things, and that's where this becomes exciting. So what is always going to be probably a painful process, which is certification, there's lots of ways we think we can help with that. And a lot of the competitors are just electricians who then learn a bit of software development right on the side. They're not specialists necessarily in just one or the other. This world rewards specialism. You've got to be incredibly good at one thing, right, to make a lot of money or do very well. So with us, we are hiring purely software developers, and ones that we've worked with before that are just exceptional. And that's when it becomes, really exciting. So Elon Musk, for example, made PayPal. It wasn't some bank that did it. It was the first online banking real platform, right, between payment system. And it was 2 people that did that. It was just him and someone else. A lot of the great softwares out there started off with just a couple of people, and often you want to keep the team lean. So we think we can do some pretty impressive things. It will take time. We've got some ideas, which I'm sure I'll come on another podcast and tell you about. But who knows what it will be. I think the feedback in the app is great, and that always gives us an insight into what people want. We do enact features based off the amount of people that give that feedback, right? But what would be cool is to do something beyond that entirely and look at maybe having a platform that's at some point a social platform.
I knew you were going to go there. I could see that. You're going to go like community, networking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that opens up a whole new dynamic to everything, doesn't it?
It does, and we're certainly not set on it. It's just one of the possibility avenues. I think there's a good few years ahead of just making this thing unbelievably good, right? Because I would say it's pretty damn good now, but in terms of what we're capable of, that's the exciting bit, is we can just go far up and beyond. Ideas like that really are worth exploring and thinking about for the future. What are your thoughts on it?
Hard. I'm going to sound like a prick here. Expanding is hard. Expanding any business is hard. I've got no experience of expanding a software company, but I've grown a few businesses now, and I always find the weakest link in scaling usually isn't finance, usually isn't the product or service. It is usually the people. People will make or break any business. You are asking the electrician who had a bad apprentice, right? They politely say fucking useless, but when they drop something on their head or you're like, you have a member of staff. You only need that as one bad member of staff, and you could have a team of 20 or 30 epic people, and that for some reason that one bad person becomes this absolute black hole of everything positive. And I think recruiting is the most underrated, under-skilled area of most businesses, especially growth businesses, startup businesses. Like, none of us are HR experts, culture experts, this, that, and the other, blah, blah. And you have nothing else to really go on apart from face value, maybe a few references, which could, for all be their bloody cousin or whatever. And your gut and experience. And I've been doing this a long time. I've been employing people for a long, long time. And my success rate is about 50%. I honestly think that will be your hard, because the software will do what you tell it to do.
You should do, yeah.
Yeah. If you employ good engineers and good coders, but like that's why I like product. I like software. I like things that, because you can people are a whole different bag.
Yeah, of course. And I think the only thing I would say though is, if you look at the electricians forums, people listen to your podcast, right? It's a close-knit industry, and there's a real reason for that, at least coming in from an outsider's perspective, which is, with gas safe, there's at least a legislative body and all that.
Yeah, but there's restrictions to that as well.
There is.
There are limitations.
There is. But, I think it is quite a tough trade, because there's massive implications. It is complicated, and not many people understand that, I think. I get the feeling that even the family of the electrician doesn't necessarily know what that person is, is this wire correct, right? Like, they might get home and think, did I do that properly? And all this stuff. And they see nothing but grey areas, massive legislation, and the head of it all is a charity, the IET, which, do an incredible job with the resources they have available, but it's not necessarily, gospel in plain writing to them. So it's a really difficult job. And I think what would be nice is to have a level of interaction with other like-minded electricians, and this is where software can do something interesting.
And I think that's where social media has really seen a huge input in the industry, isn't it? Like the Instagram community, as it started, it's now kind of some of it's moving over to TikTok or whatever. But an electrician's job was always a lonely job. For the most part, it's a person in a van.
Yeah.
You know, working on their own. You know, in all sorts of environment spaces and for long periods of time. And like you say, it's our graft. It's a thankless job. All of a sudden, you know, this community of electricians kind of sparks up, no pun intended, on social media, and they're interacting with each other's installs and this, that, and the other. And these sort of micro communities formed. The ESK formed out of a podcast, you know, because like-minded people. And then that group chat's got like 400 people in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, so there are these pockets. I mean, JK, we had on last, like, you know, he's got a little sort of group of social media, but they all met through social media and networking at trade shows and things like that. They now help each other, give each other work and support each other, and they're always, you know, bantering back and forth. And there's that sense of almost like you get when you work in a big team or in an office where you've got kind of colleagues and you have that kind of social
camaraderie.
Yeah. Like when you work on your own, and you and I have both done it. When you're a sales rep, right, and you're covering massive patches in all the country, you spend a lot of time on your own, in your own head, in the car. You know, and if that space is not a happy place, if that space is quite a dark place at that point in time, your thoughts aren't going to be sunshine and rainbows. And then you're sat with that all day, every day, on your own. And then as blokes, we're shit at sharing that. Like we don't tell people when we're there. I've known him most of my life, right? And when I'm feeling it, I don't tell him, but because I know him, he can see it and he pulls it out of me, and we bounce and we help pull each other up. That's fortunate enough because we see each other.
Yeah, you're in an office, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but if you're in the van on your own all the time, I think you're 100% right. I think community is huge. I think it's so undervalued. I think it's getting eroded. I'm seeing it in my younger kids. Everything's on the screen. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to build community. They don't know how to help each other. They don't even know how to like each other. You put them in social situations, they feel uncomfortable. Like that's not normal. That's not normal. Like we're social creatures by nature. So, you know, I think community is huge. I think how we manage a community is always difficult because you put people into anything, it's difficult, and personalities and stuff. And I think it's going to be an interesting decade. Let's hope I make it through.
Yeah. What, is there some news you've got, isn't it?
No, I'm still alive. I'm absolutely fine because 10 years is a long time. When you close you get to 40, right? 10 years feels like shit. It goes real quick, but at the same time, like, yeah, in 10 years' time, I'm going to be setting down a barrel of 49. I'm 39 this year.
Oh, wow.
39 in October.
How old are you?
36.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How old are you now, Charles?
29 now, yeah.
Bloody hell.
So yeah, in 10 years' time, you'll be
Yeah.
sat where I am moaning about everyone. Charles, I want to say a massive thank you for coming on. I think, like I say, you sparked a conversation that I think everyone needs to talk about and learn about at least. I'm sure if you go over to the Trade Cert website, which is
www.tradecert.app, and obviously on the App Store and Play Store.
it will have an email address where you can send him all your questions about AI, Trade Cert, and everything else. To Big J,
Big J.
keep on being. I don't even know what to do.
Just move on.
No, I've moved on. Big J, we're moving on. And to you guys, if you haven't already, please remember, like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. Share it with a friend. Download ChatGPT. Go over to Trade Cert. And until next time, the joy is in the journey. So take care. And we out.